All right, here we go. How am I going to get out of this one? I have no idea what I'm going to do now. It's too much for me. I have to leave now. You'd be wrong about that. This is a fantastic gospel lesson. Now, what do you do when you approach something like this? This is called a hard saying of Jesus. What do you do with it? You tackle it. That's what you do. You face it head on. So that's what we're going to do. So what do you do? First of all, some Sadducees came. Who? Who came?
The Sadducees.
Okay, now, what's that? Remember, when you read the Bible, there are words and names in there that you say, what does that mean? You can do a Google search on the word Sadducees and read the Wikipedia article about it. But since we're too lazy to do that, I'll do this. Ready? When you read the New Testament, you have to be able to count to 5. Let's do 4 first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? These are religious / wait a minute. How do you understand Islam? It's an economic, a political, and a religious system all in one ball, all in one, okay? We, Americans, we separate church and state, so we have the religion over here and the politics over here. In the Middle East, it's all together in one unit. These are religious / political parties. And these are active during the time of Jesus. What is that? 7 BC to 33 AD, the time of Jesus. So if you want to understand Jesus, which is why I come to church, I want to know more about Jesus, right? You have to go, what's going on here? They're in his face. They're trying to make fun of him. They're trying to ridicule him. Who are these people anyway? Well, we know quite a bit about them, thanks to Flavius Josephus. First of all, do the easy way. There are Pharisees and there are Sadducees. Stop. These are the two main political parties at the time of Jesus. Pharisees are people who are in the villages. According to Josephus, there's about 6,000 Pharisees living in the villages. So there are synagogues, there are Pharisees. And the people like the Pharisees because sometimes the Torah law is hard to understand. And you go to the Pharisees and you say, what do I do about this? I spill milk on the meat plate. What do I do? So in other words, they're good. They give good practical legal advice for people who are trying to wrestle with their faith. 6,000 of them, they're decentralized in the synagogue. Who are these people? Sadducees are based in the temple in Jerusalem. Stop. How many temples do we have in the Bible? There's one temple. Where is it? In Jerusalem. How many synagogues are there? Hundreds. Synagogues are places of Torah study and prayer, like a Jewish community center. There's only one temple. What do you do in a temple? You sacrifice animals. You have the holy days and so on. Temples are different than synagogues. Sadducees are aristocratic people. These people are based in the temple in Jerusalem. Where does this story take place? In Luke chapter 20. He's in Jerusalem now, right? He's in Jerusalem. He's not welcomed with open arms. Instead, he's welcomed with obnoxious questions like this one. Hypothetical questions. So what else about these very quickly? The Pharisees believe that when Moses went up on the mountain, 1446 BC, Mount Sinai, he received the Torah. What is that? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. But wait, there's more. It's like the Ginzu knife commercial. He also received the oral Torah. What's the written Torah? That's what's in the book. The oral Torah are the oral teachings. So it's the Torah plus the oral teachings. And they believe the oral traditions go back to Moses. How does Jesus get in trouble all the time? They say, well, the ancestors of old taught us this. Yeah, but the Bible says you can do that. So the Pharisees are always trying to trip Jesus up because he violates the oral Torah. Never the written Torah, it's always the oral Torah. For them, this is a huge thing. Now, quick, while we're on the subject of the Pharisees, who are the Zealots? The Zealots are the terrorists of the 1st century AD. They're Pharisees who are militant. The Pharisees are like, well, let's get along with the Romans, we'll just, as long as they let us do our religious thing, we'll let the Romans collect the taxes. The Zealots are like, we're not going to pay taxes to the Romans. Caesar claims to be God, right? Caesar Augustus means the great, it's a divine title. We're not going to pay our taxes to a man who claims to be God. There is only one God, it's Yahweh, and it's not Caesar. So these are militant, Sakari, dagger people. They carry a dagger that's 18 inches long in a cloak like this, and you walk up to somebody and you spear them under the 5th rib and you kill them right there. And they blend back into the crowd, and the Romans would say, did you see who did that? And what did they say? Didn't see a thing. I don't know nothing. I don't know anything. Right? So these are the zealots. These are Pharisees. Now, on this side, Sadducees. They're priests. They're temple-based people. They're in Jerusalem. They're cosmopolitan. They're aristocrats. These people are country people. These are city people. Around the year 200 BC, we don't quite know the date, a group of Sadducees got into a theological dispute in the temple. And one of their teachers, the teacher of righteousness, said, we're out of here. You people are all corrupt. It's a swamp. Drain the swamp, right? What do? They went out to Qumran, which is about 25 miles out in the desert by the Dead Sea, and there they start the Qumran community. The Dead Sea Scrolls people, that's them, the Essenes. The Essenes are radicalized Sadducees. The Essenes have nothing to do with the temple in Jerusalem because they think it's all corrupt. Okay? Was Jesus an Essene? Dead Sea Scrolls? The answer is no. I don't care how many times you watch it on the History Channel. A guy's giving a lecture in a couple of weeks on this very topic, and I'm going to have to put duct tape over my mouth, right? No, he's not an Essene. Jesus is his own thing. So the Essenes, all right, so ready? What happened to the Sadducees? When the 5th, 10th, 12th, and 15th Roman legion destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, they killed all the Sadducees. They're an extinct species. It would be like, let's talk about Columbian mammoths, right? They're dead. By the time Luke is writing his gospel, these people are on borrowed time. They have about 3 or 4 years to live before they're going to get wiped out by the Romans. Who are the Essenes? We know the date. 68 AD, the 10th Roman legion marched up the shore of the Dead Sea, and they wiped out the Qumran community. We know this from coins, carbon dating, Roman projectile arrowheads stuck in the walls. And that's when they buried the scrolls in the caves that were found in 1947. So we know a lot about the Essenes. They're extinct also, gone. How about the Zealots? The Zealots, some of them, the ones who lived through Jerusalem, made it to Masada, and they held out till about 64 AD when the Romans built a siege ramp that's like 1,000 feet up. And they stormed it, and they slaughtered everybody there. That's the end of the Zealots. How about the Pharisees? Modern day Jews, we have all Jewish friends, right? Conservative Jews, Reformed Jews, Hasidic Jews, we all have Jewish friends. They are descendants of the Pharisees. Okay, so if you take this line and extend it on out, that's who our Jewish neighbors are, Pharisees. So with all that being done, I'm sorry we're out of time. No, well, let's go to the Sadducees now. Okay, ready? So that's the question, right? What does the text say? Some Pharisees, they came, and what does Luke say about the Pharisees? They do not believe in the resurrection. Stop.
Sadducees.
What is that? What is that?
Sadducees.
I'm sorry, Sadducees. Mm-hmm. Some Sadducees come to him and they say, these are the people who don't believe in the resurrection. Why is Luke telling you this? Luke is writing for Gentile Christian readers who might not know about the different factions of Judaism. Okay? So, Pharisees believe in resurrection of the dead. Sadducees say that when you're dead, that's it. Right? There is no resurrection of the dead. Okay? Now, is this a question that the Sadducees and the Pharisees argue about all the time? It's like Republicans and Democrats. They're like this, okay, they're always going at it, right? Same thing. They argue about this. There is no resurrection of the dead. You show me where it says, of course there's resurrection, according to their old tradition. So this is an open sore for these people, right? It's an open question. What do you think the Sadducees are trying to do here? One, they're trying to humiliate Jesus in front of his disciples to get them to leave Jesus alone. They strip away his support. Number two, they're trying to get the Pharisees to hate Jesus. If Jesus says, I agree with you, Sadducees, there is no resurrection. Well, then he's going to lose 50% of the vote from the Pharisees. See how this works? So they're not, there's two kinds of questions. Like, I really want to know the answer, or I'm asking you a question to make you look like an idiot. That's what this question is. They're trying to humiliate Jesus, strip away his support, and leave him standing there naked and alone with nobody around him. Strip away all of his friends. That's what they're trying to do here. So it's a loaded question, okay? And it's a theoretical question, right? Don't you just love theoretical questions, you know? Suppose there was a plague and everyone in the world died and all there was left is two people, you know, would you, marry that person? It's not going to happen. It's a theoretical question. And people do this all the time. They make up these ridiculous scenarios and they ask a politician or something this, right? So theoretical questions are ridiculous. So it's a theoretical question. So they say to him, teacher, okay? Now, do they really? What's a teacher? A teacher has students, right? And a student asks the teacher a legitimate question. Teacher, what kind of wine do I serve with pork chops? I mean, okay? That's a real question. When they call him teacher, they're being snarky and obnoxious. You ever run into people that think they know so much that they have nothing, they think they know so much, there's nothing you can say that will teach them anything. Well, guess what? Everybody I talk to, I learn something from. I'm basically a student, right? I hope I never get to the point where I think I know so much that, there's no reason to talk anymore. Well, these people, they think they know it all, and they're mocking Jesus by calling him teacher. You know what? This world would be a lot better off if a lot of people would listen to Jesus the teacher and listen to what he said rather than you be quiet and listen to what he said. Rather than you telling Jesus what he thinks, maybe you should listen to hear what Jesus says. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Teacher, they say. They're being snarky and obnoxious here. Well, Moses wrote, stop. Do we like Moses? Yeah, because we believe in the written Torah alone. So Moses wrote the Torah. Well, Moses wrote that if a man's brother dies and leaving a wife but has no children, that man shall marry the widow and raise up children for his brother. What is that called? Levirate marriage. What is this? It's actually a very enlightened thing. Why? Widows and orphans in the ancient world, when you get married, remember this, women? Yeah. Your father gives you to the groom. You go from under the care of your father to under the care of your husband. If your husband dies, you don't have a male son to take care of you, you're out on the streets. You have no rights, no property, nothing. There's no Social Security, there's no insurance program. So God provides a way. It's called levirate marriage. So you, if the man dies, your brother has to marry the widow. Well, why is that? Is it like a sick, freaky thing or something? No, to keep the name alive. Remember, in Judaism, rule of thumb, you ever go to a Jewish cemetery before? I've never been there before. Okay, if you do go to one, there's a tombstone. What's on the tombstone?
All the names.
Pebbles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what's that all about? When you go and visit a Jewish grave, you remember the name of the person. Jay Kossoff, he was my friend from the Masons. I remember Jay. You put the thing on and you remember his name. You keep the person alive, not through pie in the sky, angels, or heaven, or whatever. You keep the name alive by remembering the name, keeping the name alive. So the idea is you want to keep the dead brother's name alive, right? And raise up his children to keep the family name is, remember, family, clan, tribe is the basic sociological unit for most of human history, including the Bible. Okay? So actually, it's a fairly enlightened idea. Now it gets really stupid, doesn't it? There were 7 brothers, 7 brides for 7 brothers. Yeah, what a great, right? So there's 7 brothers. And the first married and he died childless. And then the second, and then the third, they married her, and they died. All 7 brothers died. I don't know about you, but if I was brother number 7, it's like, this woman is bad news. You kind of get the point. I'm a slow learner, but maybe number 7 would be, sort of like, no one ever says it. Well, let's talk to the seventh brother about this for a few minutes here. Well, don't get caught up in the details of the story. Remember, we're trying to get the point of the story here, okay? So 7 in a row. Wait, how many 7? What's that? The number 6 is God created the heaven and earth 6 days. 7 is the holy number, right? The Sabbath day number. So isn't that interesting, right? So the 7th brother, finally, the woman died also. It's about time, I might add. This woman is bad news, right? There's no room in the cemetery. All these dead brothers are piled up here, right? Well, here's the question. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will this woman be? For all 7 had married her. Stop for a minute. Go to the beginning of the story. What does the first verse say? Some Sadducees, those who say there is no resurrection. Do Sadducees believe in the resurrection? Mm-mm. Well, what are they concerned about in the resurrection? Who's this person going to be married to? In other words, they're mocking not just Jesus, but also the Pharisees, the whole idea of resurrection of the dead. Okay? So that's kind of interesting. And what does that tell you? They don't really want to know the answer. They're just like, they're giving you like one of these like questions to humiliate you.
They want to catch
right?
you.
And what's Jesus good? They would expect Jesus to say something like this. Gee, that's such a profound question. I have to go back to Nazareth now and make wooden furniture or something. Right? They're trying to show that we're smarter than you are. We're smarter than you are. We know a lot more than you do. You're just a country bumpkin. You come here to our temple. You come here and we're gonna reduce you to what you need to be. Well, what does Jesus say? He says to them, those who belong to this age marry and are given in marriage. Stop. What is marriage? Marriage is the building block of human society. Family, clan, tribe, right? Marriage is a blessing. Do we ever hear about that? No, on TV, everything is, they bash marriage. Marriage is a horrible thing, right? Well, marriage is a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's a gift from God, right? And what's the purpose of marriage? Well, to have a Christian home, to have a Christian family, to raise Christian children, what's the best gift that you can give your community? Not to be a raving lunatic, right? To take care of your house, mow your lawn, take care of your snotty little children, get them through school, get them through college, be a positive member of society. Stability. Is stability a good thing? Yeah. Ask people whose lives are all discombobulated and out of control if stability is a good thing or not. It's a gift from God. And do we ever celebrate? Marriage is a beautiful thing. I'd hate to see whatever happened to me if I wasn't married, right? It's true, right? The two of us we like stand together. We're like partners in the fight. She keeps me going, I keep her going, and it would be a horrible thing to be alone and not have somebody say, "Come on, you can do it, get out there," right? So marriage is a beautiful, beautiful gift from God, right? And we should celebrate this and talk it up. Do we talk up marriage? Not really. I'm married. I have to go home to the ball and chain now. Oh, it's a horrible thing, right? Do we talk up marriage? We should. We should. Right? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, people ought to be jealous of us because we're married, right? So, and why? Because in this world, the city of man, God gave us the gift of marriage, family, government, good government, peace, order, prosperity, blessings, everything, peace. Everything that we know is positive and good, that's a gift from God. Mm-hmm. And we should celebrate that. That's this world. Okay? In the age to come, what is this all about? This is very interesting, I think. But for those who are considered worthy of a place in that age and in the resurrection from the dead, they will neither marry nor are given in marriage. Isn't that interesting? I've had some people that say, if that's what heaven is, I don't want to go there. Other people say, if that's what heaven is, I do want to go there. Right? So evidently, marriage is an institution for this world. Well, what is heaven like then? Here's what heaven's like. The Bible doesn't waste a lot of pages describing what the furniture of heaven looks like, what's it like up there. We do know what heaven is. It's you're absent from the body, present with the Lord. In other words, think of the best thing you've ever experienced on this earth and multiplied times infinity. That's what heaven is. If marriage is a beautiful thing for you, it is for me. Well, guess what? Eternity is going to be like that, except even more so, times a million, times a million, times a million. It's a beautiful thing. And who instituted marriage? God instituted marriage. You think maybe God has something in mind for us on the other side too? I think so. We have to have faith in God, right? Are we going to know our loved ones when we get there? Yeah, I think so. That's what heaven is, isn't it? Mm-hmm. right? You're with God, and you're with those that you've loved that have gone on before you, right? It'll be like a great reunion. So what a beautiful thing. Again, have faith in God. He's got something better in mind for you, right? And so in other words, what is Jesus telling them? He's telling the Sadducees that I believe in the resurrection, right? The Sadducees are right, talking about a resurrection of the dead. And there's going to be something far beyond marriage. So that it's a moot point, saying which of these 7 brothers is this woman going to be married? It's a stupid question, in other words. It's a hypothetical, theoretical question. And Jesus takes the wind out of their sail by saying, yes, it's going to be a resurrection, but there's not going to be marriage the way you understand marriage. It's going to be something even better that God has in mind for us. I think that's kind of interesting, right? Indeed, they cannot die anymore, right? Is this a good thing? Yeah. You only have to die once. It is appointed for man to die once, and after comes the resurrection or the judgment. You only have to go through this once, okay? That's good news, right? And after in eternity, you're not going to die anymore, right? And you will be, they are like the angels. Stop here for a minute. This is one of my big bugaboos. Every time I watch TV, I always watch WPIX at 10 o'clock to see who got shot in New York City today. And usually it's an honor student. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're at the basketball court. It's a stray bullet, wasn't intended for them. And they always have a roadside shrine that's lit. And usually there's somebody holding a balloon, one of those Marlex balloons, and they always say something like this: "He's my angel watching over me." Is that true? No. Angels are their own thing, right? When you die, you're not going to become an angel with wings in heaven sitting around on a big ball of cotton candy strumming a harp or something, right? Angels are a fixed, there's already, all the angels are already created, right? Well, what do you become? Well, you're a child of God. Your absent body present with the Lord. The last trumpet will sound. The dead in Christ is going to be raised incorruptible. That's going to be you, okay? So we don't become angels when we die, but we're like the angels in that we're spirit beings for a while until the resurrection happens. So we're like we're not angels, okay? Very important, right? And who are we? We're children of God. Got that? So your primary relationship on this earth might be, I'm the husband or wife of that person. But in heaven, no, you're identified as a child of God, right? And it becomes clear then, right? And the fact is that the dead are raised. Moses himself even talks about it. Now, why would the Sadducees be interested in what Moses has to say? Because Moses wrote the Torah. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. He wrote the Torah. So what is Jesus doing? He's saying, you Sadducees, you believe only in the Torah, don't you? Yes, we do. It's a dogma for us. Well, you know what? Your boy Moses, right? I believe in Moses too. Your Moses, he talks about something at the burning bush story. Remember that one? Exodus chapter 3. Moses is walking through he's 80 years old. 80 years old. 40 years in the court of Pharaoh, 40 years in the wilderness, 40 years leading the children of Israel. He's 80 years old. I'm a loser. My whole life. He's 80 years old. I'm standing out here watching my brother-in-law, my father-in-law Jethro's sheep in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, look, there's a burning bush. What a strange thing. The bush is burning, but it's not being consumed. It's burning, but not burning at the same time. I don't know about you. I've been looking at sheep for 40 years. I might walk over and check this out. So as he approaches the burning bush, it says what? The voice says, remove your shoes, you're standing on holy ground. Then he says, who am I talking to here? And the bush says, I am who I am, Yahweh, the ineffable name of God. And during the dialogue, what does this voice from the burning bush say? He says, it's Yahweh. And who is he? I am the God of Abraham. I am the God of Isaac. I am the God of Jacob. Notice, he's talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel, in the present tense. He's not saying your dead relatives, your dead ancestors. God is talking about it as if they're alive right here and now. What is Jesus saying? Jesus says that there is resurrection. There's life in the hereafter, even in the Torah, even in the book of Exodus, even in the book that you Sadducees claim to believe in. What's that? Cha-ching, he got him.
Yeah.
You see? So Jesus wins the argument like 1, 2, 3, at least 3 points here. Okay? And he says, and who is this God? It is he. God is not the God of the dead, but he's God of the living. You got that? He's not, oh, what an interesting history book about Jews wandering around the wilderness 3,000 years ago. No, God is the God of the living. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. God is the God of, he's an eternal God. Sadducees, Pharisees, Essenes, Zealots, they come and go. Empires rise, empires go. But guess what? God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's why we believe in God. We cling to God. You look at the newspaper, your hair standing up on end, you're like, what the heck? What's going on? It's crazy, it's insane. Well, guess what? God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Political parties come and go. People you know in your life come and go. Things change. You know, it's 70 degrees one day and 21 degrees the next day. All the change, all the movement, all that. Guess what? God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Cling to him and have faith in him. When times get rough, you think about our eternal God. Cling to God no matter what. Is this a pretty interesting story today? Yeah. And guess what? Jesus wins the argument. How do we know he won the argument? Because these people, the Sadducees, who do they hate? They hate the Pharisees. They hate each other. They hate them, right? What do? These two people conspire together, these two factions, with the Herodians. They're the people who like Herod the Great. These three, they work together with the Romans to plot to kill Jesus in a couple of chapters ahead here. Right? Think about that for a minute. They can't win. They can't beat the argument. They can't defeat him. They can't humiliate him. They can't strip away all of his support. They can't knock him down. Instead, they have to kill him. Think about that. That's an amazing story. So we want to know why they crucified Christ? Because of this. He beat him again and again and again and again. Amen.